Now, in the face of flaring geopolitical tensions, the global nuclear arsenal is set to rise in the coming years. For the first time since Cold War, the risk of such weapons being used is the greatest in decades. The data has been published in the annual report of the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. It is a leading conflict and armaments think tank. Now, according to estimates by SIPRI, the 9 nuclear powers, Britain, China, France, India, Israel, North Korea, Pakistan, the United States and Russia had 12,705 nuclear warheads in early 2022. An estimated 3,732 warheads were deployed with missiles and aircrafts, and around 2,000 were kept in a state of high readiness. Nearly all belonging to Russia or the United States. Russia has the world's biggest nuclear arsenal with a total of 5,977 warheads. The number is some 550 more than the United States. The two countries possess more than 90% of the world's warheads. SIPRI says China was in the middle of an expansion with an estimated more than 300 new missile silos. The world military expenditure has also passed $2 trillion, reaching an all-time high figure. A senior researcher at the organization expects the expenditure in Europe to increase again in 2022.
So in 2021, military spending rose for the 7th consecutive time to reach $2.1 trillion. That is the first time, that is the highest figure that we ever had. That's an all-time high, and that's the first time, of course, that we surpassed the $2 trillion mark. Military spending, it's not only arms spending. People tend to equate those two things. Of course, military spending covers arms spending and arms procurement, but it's much more than that. We have personnel costs, we have research and development, sometimes we have peacekeeping operations and the costs that are involved. So it's a much wider concept, and the figure will encompass many other aspects other than just arms procurement.
Tensions among the world's 9 nuclear-armed states have been heightened by Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Western support for Kyiv. Director of SIPRI's Weapons of Mass Destruction program says all of the nuclear-armed states are increasing or upgrading their arsenals. SIPRI also warned that unless immediate action was taken by the nuclear powers, global inventories of warheads could soon begin rising for the first time in decades. The think tank has called it a very worrying trend.
Russia in 2021 increased its military spending for the 3rd consecutive time. That was a 2.9% increase to $64.9 billion. That is the 5th largest military spending in the world. And that accounts for 4.1% of their GDP, which is much higher than the world average. And one interesting thing that happened with Russia's military spending in 2021 was that it was revised considerably higher upwards throughout the year. So the difference that we have between the December 2020 figure for the year 2021 and the final actual expenditure figure was 14% higher. So throughout the year, it really revised its spending upwards. And most likely this revision, of course, was because of operational costs. And that happened as Russia amassed troops alongside the Ukrainian border, preceding, of course, the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022.
Remember, 3 days after Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, Vladimir Putin had put Russia's nuclear deterrent on high alert. Putin has made reference to the use of nuclear weapons on several occasions. He has also warned of consequences for countries that stood in Russia's way. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.